Hi, my name is Parker Tice, and today I will be discussing the iconic late 90s to early 2000s TV series, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In particular, I will be talking about episode 12 of season 5, The Checkpoint, and how the episode and its memorable closing monologue reflect the patriarchal misogyny and lack of powerful female representation that is still seen in our society today. Now, before we dive in, here's a little background for the series and this episode in general. Buffy Summers is a typical California teenager who is also the chosen one, a vampire slayer trained to protect mankind from vampires, demons, and countless other creatures and to stop them from destroying the earth. Buffy does this with help from her friends Willow, Tara, Anya, Xander, and her watcher, Rupert Giles, who is a representative of the British Watchers Council. In the episodes before this, the Council of Watchers had come to test Buffy's skill level and how Giles had been training her. She luckily passed well, almost getting killed, but Giles did not pass the Council's test, so he was dismissed from his position. This fifth season's big bad, or villain, is a powerful female named Glory, who is trying to find and use a key that has been disguised by magic. What Glory doesn't know is that the key she seeks was planted into the memories of everyone around Buffy to be Buffy's younger sister, Dawn, because Buffy was the only person strong enough to protect the key from Glory. Oh, and Buffy's boyfriend at the time had just left in a helicopter for a secret government mission and was not coming back. Now, I'm only going to be focusing on the parts of this episode that involved Buffy and the Watchers Council, but as you can see, Buffy has a lot going on right now. A little more background on Buffy as a show. It first aired in 1997, which was not that long ago, but at the time a lot of the female role models in mainstream media were people like Britney Spears or Paris Hilton, stereotypical girly girls who wore a lot of pink and were hypersexualized by the people controlling their images. This was not then and is not now an accurate portrayal of women, and Buffy's creator, Joss Whedon, wanted to make Buffy to counteract the stereotype dumb blonde girl who gets killed in a horror movie by making her a girl we meet at 16, also a smart, strong, powerful woman who can protect herself and the others around her better than any other creature on Earth. Now, back to the episode. The show opens on the Summers household with Buffy and all her friends holding a meeting.
I've had some news. It seems that the Council of Watchers has found some information that may help us out.
About Glory.
Presumably. We'll find that out when they arrive. Could be very important.
Arrive? They're coming here? Now? Why do they have to come here?
Yeah, they can appear a bit, hard-nosed, but essentially their agenda is the same as ours. They want to save the world and kill demons.
Them to come here. I don't trust them. Make them not come here.
They're probably already on their way. Our old friend Quentin Travers is heading up a delegation.
They put me through that test and almost killed me. And then when I was Faith, they almost killed me again. Honestly, I really can't handle almost being killed.
Just that, if the Council knows something about Glory, her agenda or her origins, then maybe it will help us get a grip on what we're dealing with. I mean, right now I think we're a bit lost.
As you can see in this scene, tension is high. With the Watchers Council back again, there will be a lot of high emotions surrounding their arrival and what information they possess on Glory. You can tell in this scene that the Council has a sort of power over Buffy in a way, dictating what she does and how she acts. It is also clear that Buffy is a strong and empowered woman who clearly shouldn't need an almost entirely male council watching over her. Now we come to the Council's arrival. This scene opens at the Magic Box, the magic shop owned by Giles that sells harmless objects to mortals and is used as a meeting place for all of the gang's work.
You need to be careful. Measure precisely and please don't step ahead.
No, he's quite right. Not to do anything dangerous. Turn the wrong person into a badger.
Quentin, I didn't realize you were here.
Evidently.
It's been a while. So you've brought some of our colleagues with you. You care to introduce us?
First, I thought we might catch up. You used to respect us, Charles. You used to be one of us.
You used to pay me. If you recall firing me, it was not my idea.
Touche. But you were on the inside once. You know what sort of resources we command. We've discovered information about this creature, your Glory. Some of it is clearly vital. The rest, nearly extremely disturbing. And it won't be handed over until we are convinced that you and your Slayer are prepared for it. That's the review.
I'm not having you put her through another one of your insane tests.
Now this is where we first encounter the Watchers Council. As you can see, there are maybe 2 women in the back, and they are clearly overshadowed by seemingly more powerful male counterparts. The man in front is Quentin Travers, who was responsible for the previous test that almost killed Buffy and chose to fire Giles. He's the head of this delegation and is the symbol of the stereotypical man in power, who lords his power over Buffy for most of this episode.
Was associated with a certain obscure religious sect. They held the tenet that in order to be forgiven, one first had to sin. Rasputin embraced this doctrine and proceeded to sin impressively and repeatedly. The notion that he was in fact evil gained strength years later when the conspirators who set out to kill him found it nearly impossible to do so.
Nearly impossible?
Sorry, there was a question. Miss Summers, of course.
About, killing him. They poisoned him and they beat him and they shot him and he didn't die.
Until they rolled his body in a carpet and drowned him in a canal.
But there are reported sightings of him as late as the 1930s, aren't there?
I can assure you there is near consensus in the academic community regarding the death of Rasputin.
There's also a near consensus about Columbus, until someone asked the Vikings what they were up to in the 1400s, and they're like discovering this America-shaped continent. I'm only saying, it might be interesting if we came at it from, a different perspective, that's all.
Well, I'm sorry if you find these facts so boring. Maybe you prefer I step aside so that you can teach your own course. Speculation 101, perhaps? Intro to Flights of Fancy? What was it you were going on about last week? The mysterious sleeping patterns of the Prussian generals? Now, some of us are here to learn. Believe it or not, we're interested in finding out what actually happened. It's called studying history. You can sit down now. Unless you have something else to add, Professor?
It is clear from these scenes that juggling her college life with her slaying life and her home life has taken a toll on Buffy. In this encounter with her professor, you can see that she poses a fairly valid question and was shut down rather rudely by her professor. This shows that even in academia, women aren't considered equal to men, and that is evident in the patronizing way the professor talks down to Buffy. Buffy is soon able to take her anger at the professor out on her foes, vampires.
Some of us are here to learn, Professor. Maybe you would like to teach your own class.
Who are you talking to?
When Buffy is in action as the Slayer, you can see how truly powerful she is and how she's a skilled fighter and very capable of handling herself in dire situations.
Spike, why did you do that?
Not for money, if that's what you're thinking. Your heartfelt gratitude's plenty. Expect I'll be getting that any moment.
Gratitude. For getting in my way?
Getting in your way? I saved you.
I was regrouping.
You were about to be regrouped into separate piles. You needed help.
I didn't need you. I never need you, Spike.
This scene also introduces Spike, a vampire who is a sort of anti-hero. Without going into too much detail, Buffy and Spike have a very on-and-off friendship. Spike is stepping in to help Buffy, which in his opinion is considered chivalrous, but he is clearly superfluous since Buffy is the Slayer and is more than able to handle herself against one vampire. This interaction is a clear representation of the underlying patriarchal worldview and sexist nature of even this unique workplace, with a man believing that a woman is helpless and always in need of protection. The Watchers lord their perceived power over Buffy.
But I think your watcher hasn't reminded you lately of the relative status of the players in our little game. The Council fights evil. The Slayer is the instrument by which we fight. The Council remains. The Slayers change. Been that way from the beginning.
That's a very comforting, bloodless way of looking at it, isn't it?
Giles, let me talk to Buffy, because I think she's understanding me. Gloria is stronger than you. She's a more powerful instrument, if you will. We can help you. We have information that will help. Pass the review, and we give it to you without reservation. Fail the review, either through incompetence or by resisting our recommendations.
Insisting your recommendations. She fails if we don't do whatever you say. How much under your thumb do you think we are?
How much do you want our help?
She's not your bloody instrument, and you have no right to do any of this.
Giles.
I understand you think this is unfair. There are factors which should motivate you to go along with the review. I don't want to do this. But obviously, we could shut this place down permanently.
You can't do that. You don't have that kind of power.
Of course we do, and a great deal more. In fact, if you insist on fighting us, we'll arrange to have Mr. Giles deported within the day. Never set foot in this country again. Perhaps you're used to idle threats and sloppy discipline in the summers. But you're dealing with grown-ups now. Am I making myself clear?
This scene perfectly encompasses the struggle between Buffy and the Council, as they have information about Glory and are taunting Buffy with it so that she will be compliant with their orders. This is still very prevalent in society today, as we have seen from the revelations coming out of the Me Too movement and the ways that we've seen men in power in and outside of the media world use their position of authority to manipulate others into getting what they want. That is very clear in this first interaction with the Council.
That's what it is. It's about who has the power.
I'm guessing they do. Big power outage in Buffy County.
I should have set you loose on them. That's what I should have done.
Giles, that Travers guy is like 60. I can't hit him. Can I?
I suppose not. Well, I could. I think I will.
Can they really do the stuff they threatened? Take you out of the country?
In a heartbeat. See, the rough stuff, they're all right out there. A bit ham-handed, but they get it done. But this stuff, the bureaucracy, the pulling of political strings, they're the best in the world. They can kill you with a stroke of a pen. Pontius.
As Giles explained, the Council is hanging these things over Buffy's head and treating her like a child to make her comply. As human beings, we are born with free agency to choose to do what we want, whether we are man or woman. The Council forcing Buffy into another test that could threaten her life is not only unnecessary, but extremely unfair. Buffy arrives late to being tested by the Council because she was attacked in an alley by a bunch of guys dressed like knights. While fighting these knights, Buffy learns that their intentions are to destroy the key before Glory can find it. After this exchange, Buffy lets the one remaining knight go free, and has a moment of realization that leads to the climax of the episode and her final stand against the Council.
Late.
Yeah.
Was there an attack?
Yeah.
We can begin the review at last. We'll skip the more obvious questions.
There isn't going to be a review.
Sorry.
No review. No interrogation. No questions you know I can't answer. No hoops. No jumps. No interruptions. See, I've had a lot of people talking at me the last few days. Everyone just lining up to tell me how unimportant I am. And I finally figured out why. Power. I have it. They don't. This bothers them. Glory came to my home today,
Buffy, are you?
just to talk. She told me I'm a bug, I'm a flea. She could squash me in a second. Only she didn't. She came into my home, and we talked. We had what in her warped brain probably passes for a civilized conversation. Why? Because she needs something from me. Because I have power over her. You guys didn't come all the way from England to determine whether or not I was good enough to be let back in. You came to beg me to let you back in. To give your jobs, your lives, some semblance of meaning.
This is beyond insolence.
I'm fairly certain I said no interruptions.
That was excellent.
You're watchers. Not a Slayer? You're pretty much just watching Masterpiece Theater. You can't stop Glory. You can't do anything with the information you have except maybe publish it in the Everyone Thinks We're Insano's home journal. So here's how it's gonna work. You're gonna tell me everything you know. Then you're gonna go away. You'll contact me if and when you have any further information about Glory. The magic shop will remain open. Mr. Giles will stay here as my official watcher, reinstated at full salary.
Retroactive.
To be paid retroactively from the month he was fired. I will continue my work with the help of my friends.
I don't want the sword thrown at me, but civilians. We're talking about children.
We're talking about 2 very powerful witches and a 1,000-year-old ex-demon. Willow's a demon?
The boy? No power there.
The boy has clocked more field time than all of you combined. He's part of the unit.
That's right, they speak.
I've clocked field time.
Now, you all may be very good at your jobs. The only way we're going to find out is if you work with me. You can all take your time thinking about that. But I want an answer right now from Quentin. Because I think he's understanding me.
Your terms are acceptable.
This is one of the best scenes in all of Buffy and is such a powerful speech where she asserts her position and tells the people trying to control her that there is nothing they can do without her. They need her far more than she needs them. This scene is such an empowering moment because it gives hope to anyone in a situation where their work or position is being manipulated or undermined, that there is always something you can do and you may have more power than you realize. Thank you for listening to my analysis of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, episode 12 of season 5, and how the themes of society's patriarchal values are still relevant in our world today. Have a great day.